In a dramatic escalation of international trade tensions, U.S. President Donald Trump has implemented a 25% tariff on all car and light truck imports, sparking a significant trade confrontation with Europe's largest economy. The announcement has sent shockwaves through international markets and diplomatic channels. Germany, Europe's industrial powerhouse, has responded with unprecedented firmness. The nation, which has maintained strong economic ties with the United States, has taken a stark departure from its traditionally measured diplomatic approach. On March 27, 2025, Berlin's response was clear. German officials stated they would not accept protectionist policies from Washington, declaring, "If they underestimate us, we will respond with everything we have." This represents a significant shift from Germany's usually cautious stance. France immediately aligned with Germany's position, with French officials declaring they are not afraid of a tough trade fight with the United States. This unified European front presents a formidable challenge to American trade policies. Germany, as Europe's industrial giant and a global leader in automobile exports, has significant economic leverage. When a senior German official stated that nothing is ruled out, it signaled potential retaliatory measures, including taxes on U.S. technology companies. This development marks a turning point in transatlantic relations. The German response, backed by France, suggests Europe is prepared for a prolonged economic confrontation. The implications could lead to the most serious economic rift between Washington and Berlin in decades. The situation is particularly volatile due to Germany's departure from its traditionally moderate approach. The country's willingness to consider all options, including targeting American tech giants, represents a significant escalation. This shift in German policy, combined with French backing, indicates stronger European unity in the face of external pressure. The stakes are remarkably high for both sides, with billions in trade potentially affected by this developing situation. In a significant escalation of trade tensions, Germany has thrown down the gauntlet to the United States, declaring its readiness to implement sweeping retaliatory measures beyond the automotive sector. This development comes as Berlin signals it won't back down from what many see as an economic showdown with the Trump administration. The German government's warning came after the U.S. threatened to impose 25% tariffs on automobile imports. Berlin's response was clear. They're prepared to hit back across multiple sectors, including technology, agriculture, and digital services taxation. As one German official stated, "If they're waiting for us to blink first, they'll be disappointed." This isn't just about cars anymore. The conflict threatens to spill into sectors like electric vehicles, battery technology, and artificial intelligence software. What makes this significant is Germany's position as the EU's economic powerhouse. German automotive and parts exports to the U.S. topped $35 billion by 2024. Major brands like Mercedes, BMW, Audi, and Volkswagen have millions of vehicles on American roads. Germany is also a crucial supplier of machinery, chemical products, and high-tech devices to the U.S. market. The March 28, 2025 statement from the German government spokesperson raised eyebrows when they mentioned potential retaliatory duties on American vehicles, electronic products, and agricultural goods. This isn't just tough talk, it's backed by Europe's largest economy. For the Trump administration, this presents a complex challenge. They're facing off against the economic engine of Europe. Germany's position as the EU's industrial heavyweight means any trade dispute could quickly escalate into a broader transatlantic economic confrontation. The timing is particularly sensitive, as global supply chains are already under pressure from international tensions, including ongoing conflicts in Eastern Europe and shifting alliances in Asia-Pacific. Breaking news: EU nations unite against U.S. auto tariffs. Digital tax battle looms. In a significant escalation of trade tensions, major European powers are mobilizing for a coordinated response to U.S. automotive tariffs. The European Commission has declared retaliatory measures are ready, with potential consequences that could reshape global trade dynamics. This isn't just about cars anymore, our senior economic analyst explains. We're seeing a multi-front trade confrontation that could impact everything from social media giants to American farmers. Germany, backed by France, Italy, and Spain, is spearheading what could become the most comprehensive European economic response to U.S. trade policies in recent history. The European Commission's leadership has made it clear. U.S. auto tariffs represent a direct assault on European economic interests. European officials are now openly discussing targeting American tech companies through digital service taxes, a proposal previously shelved due to U.S. pressure. "If Trump wants to hit our cars, we'll hit their tech giants," said a senior EU trade official, speaking anonymously. The numbers at stake are significant. Current US-EU and US-Canada trade flows amount to approximately $1.8 trillion. Berlin's administration has emphasized their readiness to implement digital taxes on US tech companies, a move that would impact American social media and e-commerce platforms in Europe. German officials are also considering additional tariffs on American agricultural products, reduced import quotas, and new regulations that could create barriers for US producers. This could spell trouble for American farmers, who rely heavily on European markets. The German government's stance is resolute, with Berlin preparing to challenge Trump's auto tariffs at both trade ministry and political levels. This coordinated European response suggests the beginning of a broader trade conflict with implications for global economic stability. In a dramatic shift from traditional diplomatic restraint, Germany has issued stark warnings to the United States over proposed automotive tariffs, setting the stage for what could become the largest trade confrontation in recent history. On March 27, 2025, German officials delivered unprecedented strong messages to Washington, marking a potential turning point in transatlantic relations. The German finance minister's statement was particularly notable. "We will not hesitate to defend our national interests. The U.S. may be our largest trading partner, but this does not mean a one-sided relationship." This unusually direct language signals Berlin's readiness to abandon its traditionally cautious diplomatic approach. Economic experts warn that Trump's proposed 25% tariff on European automobiles could disrupt an astounding $1.8 trillion in trade flows between the US, EU, and Canada. The potential fallout could be devastating, with tens of thousands of jobs at risk on both sides of the Atlantic. German automotive giants find themselves in a complex position. Companies like BMW, Mercedes, and Audi are simultaneously lobbying their own government to avoid harsh retaliation while pleading with the Trump administration to withdraw the tariffs. These manufacturers face a difficult choice: either shift more production to the US or weather the storm of increased costs. The situation has become more complex in the post-Merkel era, with German industrial leaders walking a tightrope between protecting their interests and avoiding an all-out trade war. They're warning that new tariffs could disrupt not just finished vehicle sales, but also the entire supply chain for materials and components. What makes this situation particularly volatile is the potential for coordinated retaliation. If Germany successfully rallies the EU behind its position, and Canada joins with its own retaliatory package, the United States could face unprecedented economic pressure. The Trump administration appears undeterred, however, maintaining its stance despite warnings from international trade experts and business leaders. In a dramatic escalation of transatlantic tensions, Germany has taken an unprecedented hard stance against U.S. trade policies, with widespread public and industrial support backing a robust response to American tariffs. The breaking point came on March 28, when President Trump imposed a 25% tax on German automobiles, prompting a unified cry of defiance from Berlin. Relations with the U.S. are valuable, but they cannot be one-sided, has become the prevailing sentiment in German political circles. This marks a significant shift from Germany's traditionally diplomatic approach, with both public opinion and industry leaders supporting a more confrontational stance. The impact on German automakers, Mercedes, BMW, Audi, and Volkswagen, has been severe, with declining exports and slowed production. Rather than seeking compromise, Germany is preparing for a full-scale trade response, coordinating with French initiatives targeting American agricultural products. A broader European coalition is forming, with France and Italy joining forces. French leaders are concerned about potential U.S. tariffs on wine and cheese, while Italy fears impacts on its exports. The EU Commission is considering a comprehensive retaliatory package, including digital service taxes on American tech giants and measures against U.S. aerospace companies. The situation mirrors trade tensions seen in other global hotspots, where economic measures have been used as diplomatic tools. German media headlines proclaim "We will not bow to Trump," reflecting a newfound assertiveness in Berlin. Trade unions, traditionally cautious about international confrontation, now firmly support a strong response, arguing that previous patience with U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs has only encouraged further aggressive measures. If Canada joins with energy restrictions and Europe implements digital taxes, the U.S. could face unprecedented diplomatic isolation in global trade. This development suggests a potential restructuring of international trade relationships, with Germany positioning itself as a leading voice in challenging U.S. economic policies. In a major development that could reshape global trade relations, Germany appears poised for a significant economic confrontation with the United States over automotive tariffs. Our analysis reveals mounting pressure within Germany as citizens and industry leaders demand action against Trump's proposed 25% tariff on car imports. Behind Berlin's diplomatic facade, internal tensions are reaching a boiling point. Sources close to the German government indicate that Chancellor Scholz's administration faces intense pressure to respond decisively to what many Germans view as American economic aggression. The stakes couldn't be higher. Germany's automotive sector, the backbone of Europe's largest economy, faces a direct threat from these tariffs. German officials are reportedly considering a comprehensive response that could target U.S. tech giants and other sectors, potentially triggering a cascade of economic consequences. What makes this situation particularly volatile is the potential for coordinated action. France has signaled its willingness to support German countermeasures, and Canada might join this economic alliance. Together, they could impact $1.8 trillion in trade flows with the United States. Some analysts believe this show of unity might force Washington to negotiate. However, others warn that the Trump administration's stance suggests they won't back down easily. The key question now is, how far will this go? While trade wars historically have no winners, both sides appear ready for confrontation. Germany's message is clear. Enough is enough. They're preparing what insiders describe as an all-means-necessary approach to protecting their interests. For American businesses and consumers, this could mean higher prices across multiple sectors. The global economy, already walking a tightrope, could face significant destabilization if these major powers cannot find a diplomatic solution. As one European diplomat put it, this isn't just about tariffs anymore. It's about the future of international trade relations. Good evening. I'm bringing you the latest developments in what could become the biggest trade war of our time. Germany, Europe's economic powerhouse, is squaring up against American tariffs with a clear message: retaliate or negotiate. The story unfolds as Berlin flexes both its historical and economic muscles, challenging Washington's 25% tariff on automotive imports. This isn't just about cars. It's about global leadership and the future of international trade. What's particularly interesting here is how this situation could reshape the European Union. While the EU has often been criticized as disorganized, this confrontation with America might actually unite the bloc. The Franco-German alliance appears solid, potentially derailing President Trump's traditional divide-and-conquer approach. But here's where it gets really interesting for American viewers. U.S. industry lobbyists might become unexpected players in this drama. If German retaliation hits full force, American companies could face severe difficulties accessing the lucrative European market. Add Canada to this equation, and we're looking at a potential perfect storm, losing energy and parts supplies from the north while simultaneously facing barriers in European automotive and technology markets. Berlin's strategists appear to be banking on pressure from U.S. domestic politics to soften the administration's stance. However, President Trump's recent statements suggest he's not backing down, repeatedly warning of much bigger tariffs if challenged. German analysts raise a crucial point. With such massive trade flows at stake, we're talking about $1.8 trillion. Both sides would pay a heavy price, but America could lose significantly. The question remains: will Trump risk this economic showdown? The stakes couldn't be higher. As Europe's largest economy and automotive giant, Germany's potential retaliation could send shockwaves through American markets. This isn't just about cars anymore. It's about economic dominance, political will, and who blinks first in this high-stakes game of economic chicken. Our analysis continues after this break. Here's growing tension in the global trade arena, as negotiations between major economic powers reach a critical point. While analysts hoped for compromises, the rhetoric between the United States and European powers remains confrontational. The announcement of a 25% tariff on automotive imports by the Trump administration has sparked what could become a full-scale trade war. Germany, Europe's economic powerhouse, has shown unprecedented readiness to retaliate with severe economic measures. This situation mirrors tensions witnessed in other regions, such as the northern Black Sea region, where disruptions have had far-reaching consequences. The current US-EU standoff threatens to destabilize a $1.8 trillion trade relationship. Berlin's response has resonated throughout Europe, creating a unified front against US trade policies. The German-French alliance is particularly concerning for Washington, as these nations are discussing joint retaliatory measures targeting multiple US sectors. The question isn't just about automotive tariffs, it's about fundamental principles of global trade. Will Washington reconsider its position when faced with Berlin's determination? Neither side appears willing to back down, and rhetoric continues to escalate. What's worrying is the potential for irreparable damage to the world economy. As seen in the country at a crossroads, economic disruptions can have long-lasting effects beyond immediate participants. The coming weeks will be crucial. If no compromise is reached, we could witness a trade war dwarfing previous economic confrontations. The automotive sector would be just the beginning. We could see cascading effects across industries. We'll continue monitoring these developments, bringing you updates as this situation unfolds. Remember to subscribe to our channel and share your thoughts below. Your engagement helps us maintain our commitment to thorough analysis of these critical economic developments. Stay tuned as we follow this developing story. The future of global trade may depend on what happens next between Washington and Berlin.